Hello everybody, I'm Dustin with Blast Away the Game Review. Thank you for tuning into our YouTube channel again today. Today we will be covering more tutorials with Warframe. This includes Darvo and the Conclave. We're not going too in-depth with Conclave, just enough to give you guys a feel for the game. So today I will have to go to a relay which can be found on select planets. These relays are social hubs, and they have a unique vendor named Darvo and another one named Barrow. Barrow will be at a later date. Darvo has special cells. So let's go into a little more depth. I'm going to go off screen so you guys have a little bit of time to listen. In order to access the vendor Darvo, you actually will need to go to a relay. Personally, I always use Marrow's Bazaar, or I use Strata. Strata being my favorite because that's usually where vendors like Barrow Kitar is. If you don't remember Barrow Kitar, he plays a really important role for the Inaros quest line. It explains a little bit of his background, but even a little bit of the background for Inaros himself. Now, one thing we are going to discuss in this video is about this and the Conclave setups. Those are both extremely important later on, especially in the advanced tutorials we'll do much later on. I'm going to try and keep this YouTube video short for you guys. I know the last few have been extremely long, which makes it a little hard. For those of you who do not like to watch videos, I will definitely work on getting a handwritten one out for you. It'll be several parts, and it will actually be a little bit more precise and more in-depth about what we're going on, especially more with the formula. Now, in order to get to Darvo, you do have to go through the relay itself, as you can see here, which requires a little bit of maneuvering. I just like to slide around because Space Ninjas, that's all you can say to this. Now, as you can see on the vendor, it's telling me when Barrow Kitar is going to be back. He's going to be back next week. Not this week, but next week. He comes in every 2 weeks. In order to buy things from him, you need in-game credits, as you can see above, but you also need these special little things called ducats. The only way to get the ducat is by breaking down your prime parts. Now, if you're unsure whether you have the prime or you want it again, definitely hold off on selling those items unless you know you're going to not use them again or sell them, especially because these primes do get vaulted. They won't be back. So it's one of those, make sure you do this with a little bit of thought into going into it. Now, as you can tell, I've gotten a little lost. I don't come to the relays very often. I only come in when Barrow's here. Darvo has a cell worthwhile. Because this is a social hub, you're definitely going to be seeing some regional and just general chat going on in here. Now, Darvo, what he does is every 6 hours from when I come in, I always come in at this time, so for me, it's always 6 to 7 hours from when his purchase changes what he has. His items he have are always unique. They're only while supplies last. As you saw, it said 141. That means he only has 141 of the Akimbo Broncos left, meaning only 141 more players will be able to grab it before the sale ends. Now, because I am going to leave the relay, I'm going to do it in a little different way. I actually like returning to my ship. I could hit options and simply leave by hitting leave relay, but why not just go back to my ship and have a little bit of fun? So let's head back there now. These guards probably aren't all that impressed that I'm sliding around now. As you can tell, I have to go back to my ship. I can't leave through this player ship. I actually have to go back over here to my Mantis and leave relay by going to it, or as I said, hit options and go down to leave relay. It is going to take a second to load in. I don't know why it does this. It has always done this ever since the last update, and it'll even act like it's freezing up my screen for a second. So I'm actually going to go ahead and let this play out, give you an idea of what can happen so that you know you're not the only person this happens to. I should tell it was just a brief deal. Now, one thing I was talking about is the sale that is happening with this summer infestation and Darvo. As you can tell here, these all have a discount, which is what that symbol is in Warframe. It's a discount. Now, I can actually go over here, just for all intents and purposes. I'm actually going to get the Stradivar right now because I don't have it, and it actually sounds like a pretty cool pistol. well, rifle, especially because it has several firing modes. So let's go ahead and pop the 230 platinum into it. Now, I'm going to do this a little differently just so you guys can see this. You don't have to go through that window where you see it say the discounts. You can actually go to each weapon class and get them. Now, each of these are infested versions of weapons that are already in the game, meaning their stats work a little differently. There's the Parasis, the Mutalis Quanta, which I'll be grabbing too. I haven't used any of these, so why not grab them while I have a chance? As you can tell, they all have their unique features, which this one has increased puncture. Now, the thing is, not all of them are going to be in this weapon class. So I'm actually going to have to go to secondary and melee to get the other two. So let's go down here. Let's grab the Tysis. I don't have this one. The downside is there only is one secondary, which is kind of a rain on the parade, you know? Yeah, as you can tell, I don't know if it's Warframe's having server issues or what's going on, but hey, it'll finish purchasing in a second. As you can see up there, it's showing I have the AK Broncos. I actually paid less than that for them because I went to Darvo. Now remember, Darvo is the only way to get these discounts. You're not going to get them from the in-game market. Let's grab the Meyer and the Serrata. For those that don't know, the Serrata is an infested version of the Glaive. Which, if you like the Glaive, you're going to like the Serrata. It's a fun weapon to have. Now, with all those purchases made, I can go through here. I'm actually going to grab a couple boosters. I will be leveling these up, and you'll see them being used in the later videos. So I'll grab an Affinity Booster, which will, as you already know, or if you don't remember the video, Affinity is your experience. So let's grab this so I can level up quicker. It is a little bit, if you want to call it a cheat. Let's grab a credit booster so I can get more credits where I can afford to make other items. Resources, we'll pass on those for now. Now, one thing we are going to talk about is, as you can see, we have several mode selections here. You see the cooperative, Arcwing. Arcwing is cooperative, and then we also have Conclave. Conclave is the PvP portion of this game. It is where players will be fighting against other players in order to show who is the best. Now, one thing you're going to see here is my stats do not change, even with mods. Conclave does not use your base mods. They actually have their own mods exclusive to Conclave. As you can tell, there is the Conclave symbol. Now, because I personally am new to Conclave, I am not big on the PvP aspect, except for Lenora. Lenora is my go-to. Weapons actually have their own Conclave level, separate from the in-game level, which is indicated by the red. Now, unfortunately, I have not learned how to identify what my Conclave level is with that weapon, but once I do, I will definitely be making a tutorial about that for you. Here, as you can see, I was going to increase my maximum capacity, but because my Conclave configuration is too low, I can't do this. It is actually going to restrict me from doing this. So let's try this again. As you can see here, it's still telling me I have reached my maximum capacity. Every weapon actually goes through this. They all have their own Conclave level, so you do have to worry about base level and Conclave level. They both, I believe, play an important role to Conclave itself. As you can tell, my Marilock is going to be in the same boat here, but I'm going to do this for all intents and purposes of doing it because I already have a loose magazine. I can't insert a second one. It does follow the rules of the base game. As you see, I can't put another one in there, but I can put full capacity on its own. But I'm going to go ahead and go with my loose magazine since it's the mod I've already preferred. I've been using it for a while now. And the Tombow, as you can tell, I don't have any mods for it. It's just Shimmering Blight or Bleeding Willow, which are its stance mods. So at this time, I will not be using damage mods with it or any modifiers. Now, one thing that is interesting is Lenora, as you know, is my favorite sport, and that in the game, and that is actually here what you're seeing now is the Lenora Glaive, or whatever you want to call this thing. But because we are running out of time, I do want to thank all of you for tuning in. I will be showing you some gameplay here soon of Lenora itself, and even missions for those of you who are just starting up Warframe. Again, I'm Dustin with Blast Away the Game Review, and thank you for tuning in, and we hope this tutorial helps you.